Now in this one, this filters. This filter whichever sheet, because I think this category filter is applied. No, this select and value is applied on this sheet. So if you go to this sheet, this is, if you see, you will have this category, dimension, and these two options there. So it will be applied only to this worksheet. Now let's say if I change this for, let's say 5, it will only affect this sheet. Now let's say if I want to change this to city, it will only change this to apply to this sheet. But what I want, but let's say you want to apply this, I have this category filter. Okay, it is only applied on this donor. But let's say I want to apply this filter to every sheet. So what I'll do is I'll simply select this, go to apply. You remember we have discussed this all using data sources, selected worksheets. So you can select all the worksheets and click on OK. Now what will happen? It will be applied on all the worksheets. Can you see everything is changing? Now one more thing. Now what else I can do instead of using this, let's say filter as like this. What I want is I want this to use as an icon. Okay, so let's say right now it's using this. So what I want is I want to use an icon instead of this filter. So let's do that. So let's remove this filter, or let's remove this filter from here. I'll create one sheet. And now I will create a shape chart like this. And I'll use my category in the shapes, this shapes. So I have 3 shapes now, right? Furniture is this. Let me make it entire view. Let's hide this title and put the category over here or on the top. Let's put it on the column so that I'll have a header like this. Okay, and you can edit the shape. Let's say I have downloaded the shapes already, so I'll go to this and let's go to KPI. No, over here, no, it's in the category. So I'll say for furniture, I'll check this one. Okay, I'll select furniture. I'll assign this to furniture. Office supplies, I'll select this. And let's say technology, I'll select this. And I'll click on apply and I'll click on OK. Can you see? Correct. Now what I'll do is I'll use this in my sheet. I'll use that over here and I'll put it over here. And let's hide this title. Let's also hide the show header. Okay. Now I have only these icons. Correct. Now let's make it a bit smaller. Let's adjust this graph. So now what I'll do is, I have talked about this action filter, right? Now this is my worksheet. Okay. So what I'll go, I have updated in the dashboard. So I'll go to this dashboard. I'll use this action filter. So now I'll go to this dashboard. I'll click on actions. So there are multiple action filters. There are filters, highlight, go URL, go to sheet, change parameter. So we have other options. Let's say filter. If I select on filter. So what I want is, first the target is my this sheet, right? So let me rename it first. This is icon sheet. Now I'll go to this sales dashboard. I'll go to actions. And what I'm saying is, to apply an action, you always need a target and a source and a target sheet. Click on actions, add actions, filters, select filters. Then I want icon sheets. So this is my source. Source means, let's say if anybody selects, clicks. Guys, this is a problem of my laptop. So because it's getting selected, multiple option, I only need to select icon sheet. So what I'm saying right now, that if anybody selects this icon sheet, anything on this, give me the relevant value on all these, effect on all these sheets. Okay, so I have run action as hover, select, and menu. So we will click on select and we'll select single select. That means if I do a single click, make the changes accordingly. So I'll click on OK. Always keep it as filtered value, all values. Click on OK and click on OK. Now, if I click on this furniture, right? So the moment I click on furniture, see, all the values are changing according to that. If I select on this office supplies, all the values are showing for office supplies. If you want to validate this, you can also, let's say, I'll change this to dimension as category. Can you see? The office supply I selected. If I select this furniture technology, the technology is changing. So this is how you can use this icons. And see, that's why I told you, to use this action, you have multiple ways. Instead of using this, if you could have asked me the feasible way, I'll remove that one. And what I'll do, I'll simply go to the sheet and I'll select this as a filter. I'll click on this filter. Now this sheet will act as the same, the action. If I click on this, it will change according to the selection. If I uncheck this, everything is as it is. So how you want to use it, it depends upon you. Now, there are other actions also there. If you go to action filters, there will be like actions, highlight. If you want to highlight something, go to URL. Let's say we have, instead of using this action, I have all the same options in the objects also. I can use that. So let's say if you click on go URL, so what it will say here, let's say hyperlink I have given, and what I'm saying is, this is my icon. I'll go to this and click on this, and I'll select only icons. And what I say is, if anybody clicks on this icon, go to a browser, go to this new tab if no web page objects exist. So let's say I'll type google.co.in. Okay, and click on OK. Hold on. And this I'll click on select. Okay, and I'll click on OK. Click on OK. Let's say if I click on this one, I'm going to Google. Can you see? It is redirected to Google. So this is how you can use a link also. Same thing I can do it. Let's say if I remove this actions. If I remove this, I'll remove this also. Click on OK. If I want to put a URL, okay, web page or a navigation button, so I can also use navigation like this. Okay, here I can use a navigation. I can add edit button over here. You can give multiple options over here. So how to use this navigation, we will discuss like in a proper way. So navigation button is basically, let's say I have, now let me hide this dashboard, hide on sheet. Now just assume I have created one more sheet. I'll just create a rough one like this. I'll add anything. So just this is just to show you. Now let's say this is my one other sheet. I'll say extra. Okay. Now let me hide this, hide all sheets. This is not a proper, this is just to show you guys. So please don't excuse me for the formatting and other things. Okay. Now remaining are this. So let me add this. And once you use that worksheet, always hide the sheets so that it will be like your space will be clear. It will be easy to understand. So now see, I have only dashboards. I have hidden all the sheets. Now I'll make it, let's say, detail. So now let's say I'll create one more and I'll make it as a what do you call it? Overview. Let's say overview or index. I'll create an index dashboard. What I want now, assume that you have 10 or 15 dashboards you have created. And to always, if I want to go to any sheet, it becomes very difficult. Like I have to look for the dashboard. So what I want is I want to create a list over here so that user can select from this list and he can go to this dashboard. So what I'll do is I'll create a button like this. So I'll create this navigation. Let's first add a dash sheet over here like this. I'll add a container like this. Okay. Now I'll add a navigation button. Before, let's make it like this. I'll write a title in this one. Select the dashboard. Okay, and I'll make it a bit bold. Size, let's say 15, and I'll click on OK. So what I'm saying over here is, so now what I'm saying is, I'm asking user to select the dashboard. Here I'll give the list of dashboard. Okay, so now let's say there are two ways. You can also use an action filter. You can create multiple sheets, but instead of creating multiple sheets and using the action, what best I would do is I'll simply use a navigation button. I'll use this over here. I'll use one navigation button over here. Okay, and what I'll do, I'll name it, and I'll say to, let's say, detail. If you want to go to detail sheet and background none. Dashboard. So if I now also, did I selected? Yes, detail sheet. Now I'll add a text over here. I'll write detail sheet. Okay, and detail dashboard. 14. Make it black, and I'll say first. I'll give it a title. Click on OK. Let's first remove this. First, we'll add all the sheets over here. Now I'll add another text. I'll say true, and I will say what is the next sheet is extra dashboard. Black 12. Click on OK. Now add another text over here, and I'll name it as 3. This is the one, sales dashboard. Make it 12. Make it bold black. So now adjust the size. Just make it smaller. We don't need. Okay, so now let's make it bold. Okay, so these are 3 sheets. Like so on, you can create an index. You can type the name as index. Okay, and now what I want is, if users click on this one, he should go to the detail sheet, to this one. If he clicks on extra, he should go to this. So now what I'll do is I will add a navigation button. Where is the navigation button over here? Now there are multiple ways. So first I'll use this as a detail sheet. I click on this one, and I'll use a edit button. I'll use an image. Okay, I'll go to this, and let's say I have information icon. Okay, let's check for any icons of that. No. Oh, yeah, I'll use this one. Click on OK, and I want this to go to detail. Okay, and yeah, okay, this is correct, and I click on OK. Now let's say for this one, I'll use a other icon. So navigation button, I'll click on this. Again, I'll go to this. So this is where you will waste most of your time to adjust the container. So you have to struggle a lot with this. So now in this, I want to go to extra and I'll select the image. You can use the other image also. Let's say I select this one. I'll click on OK and I'll click on OK. Now let's say this is my third one. So I'll add an other button over here. Same thing I'll do. I'll go to this edit image. Now I have selected extra over here. Now this is sales. So I'll go to sales. Have I used correctly, guys? Correct values. So I have detail extra. And so let's say for detail, if it goes to detail, yes. And if this one I click extra, yes. So now now you will see over here. Now I'll put it in the starting. Now this is my, so like this, you will have, let's say 10, 15, whatever dashboards are there, you can use it. So now let's say, and in this one also, I'll use a navigation button. So what I want is I'll put a navigation at the end over here like this, and I'll use an image over here. Let's select, let's go to this one, go to this, no. Arrow I can use, like this one is the back button, right? So I can use this one and I'll click on OK. And what I want is I want to go to index sheet and I'll click on OK. Now over here, I can also add a text over here below so that go back to index. I'll make it small. Okay. So now this is one. Same way I do it on others. Okay. So I'm not doing that on other sheets. Okay. I hope it's fine, right, guys? It's just to make you understand. Now what I'm doing is, now I'm on my presentation mode. This is my dashboard and this is where I am on my index sheet. Now I want to see the detailed dashboard or sales dashboard. I'll click on this sales dashboard. I'm into my sales dashboard. Now I want to go back to index sheet. I'll go back to index sheet. Now I want to go to extra sheet. I'll click on this and I'm redirected to the extra sheet. Same way I'll add a navigation button. I'll come back to index sheet again. So this is how I can move from one sheet to another. Understood, guys? Any doubt? Dashboard we have covered. One more thing in dashboard is that is not very useful, is basically this. Where is the one? Web page. If you want to create a web page, till now I have never asked to create a web page, and it's not very useful one. But let's say if somebody asks you to create a web page is basically, let's say I'll type google.co.in like this. You will find that you will have a page over here. Let me show it in a separate dashboard. Let's say I want to create a web page over here. Okay, I'll type google.co.in. You will see a web page has been created. Same as your Google. Can you see? Now you can type over here, Tableau. You can have the same web page. It's just a web page has been created. So if you want to use, let's say you're working for some project. If I'm working for a Tableau project, and what I want user to go to this web page. So I can add a link, and he can always visit to this page. Okay, so it's like this. Let's say this is my Tableau icon. Okay, what I want is, let's say user clicks on this. If he wants to further information, we can always use a navigation button over here. So let's say if I type over here, what was this? Let's say I type Tableau, and I want user to go to this link, to this page. Okay, so if I want user to go to this page, I'll copy this link. Okay, and I paste it over here, and I'll click on OK. Now, if user click on this link, he will be redirected to this page. Understood? So I can add a URL also. So once you practice, then only you will you will get a hands-on. So then only you will have queries. So you try at your end. Try what I would suggest is create this dashboard and use all these functions. Except this extension, you won't be able to use ask data. If I add this ask data, it will say that you need to log into server. So it's basically, it's nothing. What this ask data is, you can type. Let's say I will type over here that what is the sales for furniture, sales figure. So it will give you the answer. It will change this chart according to that. Data story, images. Images, I have shown you how to use this image. Blank is basically a blank sheet. Workflow, again, if you use this workflow, it will need you to log into server again. So again, this workflow is not very useful, no, hardly used. But yeah, if anybody asks, you can always see it's denied. So cancel this one. Yeah, download button you can use. Let's say if I use a download button, so it's basically, instead of use, it's the same function that we discussed, print PDF. Print to PDF, we are getting this page, right? If you click on this one, you'll get the same option. So you can give a button to a download. Let's say user are not aware. So if user wants to have a button to download, you can always use this download button. And these are all extra headings that will not be using. Basically, can you see these filters over here? Extension filters over here. You can add a filter over here. So now this is a simple dashboard. Now you just create it and let's see what challenges you face. Okay.